One last example here on page 37. I wanted to talk about deaths per 100,000 people, which is a common metric if you look at disease worldwide or in different countries. So deaths or cases per 100,000 people. If we stick to percentages, sometimes there are very tiny percentages, but a disease could still be significant. So if we change to deaths or cases per 100,000, that makes the numbers a little nicer. As of January 2022, the US has had about 826,000 deaths due to COVID. 826,000 out of 330 million means that we lost 0.25%, a quarter of 1% of our population to COVID. First question is, how is 0.25% different from 0.25, which is actually 25%? I do have students sometimes get mixed up on questions like these. Well, this is very tiny. If we lost a quarter of our population, that would be unimaginable. We lost a lot of people, but it was 0.25. It was a quarter of 1%. So a quarter of 1% is 826,000 people. 25%, if we worked that out, it would be 82,500,000 people. So that would be much more. So just remember that 0.25% is not the same thing as 25%. Finally, if we wanted to find out how many cases per 100,000 we actually had in this country, we can put the part over whole, the deaths per 100,000. So we're going to have the deaths over our population, and then we're putting X over 100,000. And again, I set this up with a proportion. So I multiply these and I multiply these. There's my equation. I set my cross products equal. This times this on my calculator gives me 8.26 E10 equals this number times X. And then if I don't want to write this number out every time, I could say 3.3 E8 and divide on both sides. So to do this division, I pulled up my Desmos calculator and I'm going to put in 8.626 times 10 exponent 10. And that's the numerator. And then I want to divide by, and that's not what I meant. I want to take this whole thing and divide by 3.3 times 10 exponent 8. And that gives me an answer of about 250. So that's how I got that answer. And again, if I wanted to, I could have written all of this entire giant number out and then divided by 330 million. So 100,000 times 826,000, enter, divide by 3, answer, divided by 330 million, enter, and that works as well, gives me the same result. So there were about 250 deaths due to COVID per 100,000 people in the US in January of 2022. So this is a different type of percentage. It was 1/4 of 1%, but another way to say that is 250 out of every 100,000 had died of COVID.